Well, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has upheld Australia's commitment to Ukraine by pledging an additional 30 bushmasters for the nation's counter-offensive against Russia. This latest show of solidarity takes Canberra's total military and humanitarian aid contribution to $890 million. On the sidelines of the NATO summit in Lithuania, the PM promised Ukraine's leader that Australia will continue to impose sanctions on Russia until Ukraine restores its sovereignty. Joining me live now from Kiev is advisor to Ukraine's Defence Minister, Yuriy. Yuriy, thanks so much for your time. I know that it's just gone 2 a.m. there, so I really appreciate your time this morning. And we often see reports from Ukraine that things are getting better, but I understand that you've just come out of a bomb shelter and again missiles are over the capital.
Yes, indeed. We are currently experiencing another massive drone attack in Kyiv, so I just quickly relocated to a place where I can get some internet connection and speak to you. But we've already had reports from our emergency services that the debris of some of these Iranian drones that have been literally half an hour ago shot down over Kyiv, they have fallen onto some residential blocks of flats. We don't know yet the information about the casualties. Hopefully there will be none, but we know that some of the drones that have been shot down, they fell onto the residential blocks of flats. And right now, we've just had 5 minutes ago another announcement. There's another wave of Iranian drones. They are not flying very fast, so once they're detected by our air defenses, we're expecting them any minute.
Yuriy, is this common? Is this happening, on a nightly or weekly basis? Because often, we see reports of the Ukrainian defences certainly pushing back against Russia. Russia has not made the grounds it promised to do more than a year ago now, but certainly is it right to categorise the situation as certainly Russia not giving up?
Russia is definitely, the terrorist state Russia is definitely not giving up. When we don't have the air raid sirens and missile or drone attacks for 2 or 3 nights, we ask each other what happened, what's wrong with the terrorists, why are they on pause. But indeed, they are not slowing down. Unfortunately, they are able to circumvent the sanctions regime. They are producing their own missiles still. They are producing now their drones. So, for us, this fight continues, and this is why I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Australian government, Mr. Albanese, the Defence Secretary Richard Marles, to express our gratitude for the support that we are receiving from Australia. Look, this is incredible. In less than 3 weeks, this is almost the 3rd package that we have received. So it looks like Australia is back on track to becoming the largest non-NATO contributor to Ukraine's defense effort. And we really appreciate it because we really need it both on the front lines as well as in our peaceful cities. So this help is much appreciated, and let's hope more will come when the Australian government will decide.
Yeah, look, Anthony Albanese is definitely a part of that huge show of solidarity for Ukraine in Lithuania over the last couple of days. Another 30 bushmasters from Australia. But when you look at the job ahead of you, it doesn't really seem enough, to be honest. Just explain, because I think we are very affectionate about the Bushmaster and how effective it has been for our defence forces over the decades. What's it actually doing for you in Ukraine?
It's doing incredibly well. It is doing spectacularly well. On the front lines, it helps our ground forces to carry out very complex military operations. It is very well equipped with good armor, so our troops, when they're in Bushmasters, they're safe. Bushmasters are also used to evacuate the wounded from the battlefield when necessary. They're used to provide humanitarian assistance or ammunition to the actual front lines when necessary. So bushmasters have been spectacular, and we are very thankful for them. And the additional 30 that we will receive now from Australia will be put to good use immediately once they arrive in Ukraine. And we hope the bushmasters will also be, in some foreseeable future, they will be joined by another brilliant armored vehicle that Australia has, the Hawkeyes, and of course the tanks. Australia has 59 Abrams tanks. Why not join the international tank coalition for Ukraine? Because look, the offensive operations at the moment are going very difficultly because Russians have had so much time to create very strongly fortified defense lines. It's millions, literally millions of mines. It's hundreds of kilometers of trenches, and we have to break through them to liberate our land.
Yeah. You don't seem tired, Yuriy, and you don't seem weary at all. But as this war drags on, do you ever lose hope? Do you see how you can win it and restore your sovereignty?
I have children whom I don't see very often. My friends have children who they don't see very often, but we all want to reunite with our children in peaceful and prosperous Ukraine. And trust me, that is the best motivation you can get. So we are determined to continue to go for as long as necessary until the last Russian war criminal and looter is driven out of our land. And there is no doubt about the fact that we will win this war, and we will restore peace in Europe, and we will restore the rules-based international order, because that's what we all need, not just in Ukraine, but around the world.
Very well said, Yuriy. Yuriy Sak, thanks so much for joining us. It's approaching 2:30 in the morning where you are in the capital, Kyiv. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me, as always.